I don't know who needs to hear this, but it takes courage to be seen before you feel ready. Showing up is the first step to becoming who you are meant to be. Hi, I'm Samantha of Our Boundless Journey. We are a family of 5 that is currently slow traveling the world schooling our children, learning from different cultures, experiencing new things. We're searching for more. We are searching for something deeper than what we grew up being told was the only way. We all know the old school mindset of the only way to be successful is to go to college, graduate from high school, go to college, get a degree, land a job, high-paying job, but start at the bottom, then work your way up the corporate ladder, then get married, buy a house, and then have children. That was the path for everyone. I'm not the first one to say it, but I am beyond grateful that that fake image of perfection is being shattered, because that's not the way for everybody. Some people, sure, it's great, but I don't understand why we had to project this story onto everybody and make it the same path for everybody. Right now, my family and I are currently in Mexico. We've been here for a couple of months now. We're going to be shifting and probably heading back to the United States to kind of travel around. We're basically slow traveling the world, going where the wind takes us. We've learned to follow our gut instinct, and all of these things are not what society said is acceptable or is normal, at least 10 years ago. Nowadays, things are shifting dramatically. We're not trendsetters by any means, but we are choosing a path of alignment. We are choosing to show up for ourselves and for our children, and we're choosing to show up in the world differently than how we were raised. And this is very profound, forward-moving thinking, I don't know, whatever word you want to call it. But all of this comes back to the question that I've been asking myself is like, what makes us so special? The reality is that we're not special. We're not better than anybody else. We have just chosen to take that first step. We've chosen to step into the unknown, to work past our fears, to do the shit that scares us. And we've chosen to be courageous in that regard, to follow a voice inside of us that's telling us, hey, you need to go here. You need to go see this person. You need to go over here and try this experience. There's all these little breadcrumbs that the universe has laid out for us that we're just kind of following, and it's all being followed through intuition, because obviously you can't physically see the breadcrumbs. All that we have is a gut feeling and a knowing. And once we step into moving past the fear of the unknown, stepping into following our gut instinct, it's not until we arrive in that next destination that we realize, yes, we are meant to be here. We are always right where we are meant to be. We are always being divinely guided. It doesn't have to make sense at first. It usually doesn't ever make sense. But in hindsight, when you look back and you start to connect the dots, you see that everything happened for a reason. Every random ping or message or thought that you had, whatever you want to call it, every time you had a random craving for coffee, and so you went to your favorite coffee shop, and then you ran into an old friend who told you about this money-making opportunity, and then that inspired some thought in you, and then you went and followed it, and all of a sudden you're making a bunch of money. For us personally, it was the gut feeling of knowing that we were meant to move away from our hometown. We couldn't explain it. We didn't know why. We just knew we were no longer comfortable. For us, it looked like we felt trapped. We were stressed out. There was a lot of anxiety. We didn't know where we were going. And at that time, we had no clue what was on the horizon for us. But all of a sudden, I was connected with someone who lived 2 hours away, and they had this business opportunity, something that we could help them with to help them grow their business. Initially, we thought we wanted to move closer to the beach. We wanted to live in our random thought was to move to Virginia or Virginia Beach. So initially, making this decision to still stay in Wisconsin was very tricky for us because it wasn't the plan. Or the plan was to save up the money and find the jobs and move to Virginia Beach. But we chose to follow our instinct, and something deep inside said, this is the right move. You need to go there. So then we thought, okay, well, we're probably going to move it around like springtime, March or April. There was no hard set date on when we had to be there. At the last second, there was kind of a random push from the other side that said, hey, can you guys get here any sooner? We need you here like by January or February. That was a lot of stress for us. It caused us anxiety. There was so much fear that came up because we basically had 1 month to figure out all the logistics of finding a new job in a new town, finding an apartment, figuring out how we were going to pay for rent that was basically doubling, and then trying to figure out how we were going to move all of our stuff, our family, all the things. Once we made the decision to move across the state, I set the intention that this move was going to be smooth and it was going to be easy. Now, even though I said these words, there was still fear. My ego was like, hey, yeah, you can talk a good game. We can pretend like everything's going to be fine, but we know that shit's going to hit the fan and this is probably going to be crazy. And there was a lot of steps. It was a process, but I'm telling you, even though there was a lot of steps, there was a lot of driving back and forth to check out the new apartment, to find a new apartment, check it out, and then we had to go back and forth between getting the keys and signing the lease, and I had to do all of this with the kids by myself for the most part. It was a lot, but it was smooth, and I cannot tell you. In the moment, I even remember thinking, wow, this is like everything just happened seamlessly and it all worked out. Eventually, we start to get connected, settled in to the new place through a random networking event that was thrown my way. It was an opportunity to go out and meet other business owners in the community. I met a wonderful lady by the name of Jamie who was at the networking event, and at the same time, the very same day that I met her, she started telling the group about how she and her family were planning a move to Mexico, and this was in March. At the time, I thought that was crazy. It was wild. It was inspiring. It was all the things all at once, but it wasn't my story. It was hers. And I thought it was pretty cool. Literally just thought this is the only time we're ever going to see her, or I'm ever going to see her. I didn't even care for the actual networking event itself, and so I had no intentions of ever going back. Through a series of events, not that long after, Jamie popped back up into my life in the circle that I was slowly getting acclimated in. She popped up a couple more times, and I don't recall how it came to be exactly, but somewhere in that process, she discovered what we do for business. We're traveling photographers, traveling videographers. We help to make content for other brands. After they moved, she reached back out to me and she was interested in getting content creation for their own personal brand. They were trying to grow and to market and to really level up in that regard. And in return, because they were business coaches, she was going to offer us services to kind of help us just get clarity in our business. All of this to say, it's a very long-winded story, but all of this to say, had we not followed our gut instinct, had we not followed that urge to just get out of our hometown and to move far away, we never would have landed in central Wisconsin. If we hadn't followed that last-minute time crunch, that push to get there before February, we never would have met Jamie and her husband, Kevin. And if we hadn't met them, I don't know where we would be, but I can tell you that we probably would still be stuck. We would be anxious. We would be stressed. We would be so far out of alignment that depression would probably still be sitting. And it wasn't just seasonal depression. The first phone call alone was enough for us to go, holy shit, talking with Jamie is life-changing. And through the course of chatting with her a few more times, she really helped us realize that we were playing small. We were staying stuck. We were people-pleasing our way through life. And we were not showing up with courage for ourselves or for our family. We were living by other people's rules. When she helped us realize that, we knew that it was time to take our family on the road. We started to tune in and to listen to our own gut. We started to really check in and figure out, like, who are we? What is it that we do want? Did we want to stay stuck in this tiny apartment that was upstairs? There was no yard, there was no playground for the kids nearby. We basically lived in a retirement community, and even though our neighbors were absolutely wonderful, it didn't provide us with the creativity and the expansion and the excitement that our family needed. We started asking ourselves all these questions, and once we did, we realized what we really wanted was to get the fuck out of Wisconsin. We wanted to travel. We wanted to travel the world with our children. We wanted to take our business worldwide. And so we ended up in Mexico. I wish we had started sooner, but I also know that we are on the right path. We are right where we're meant to be. Not just us, but you too. We're always right where we are meant to be. It takes a lot of courage to show up in life, to show up online, to show up for your friends, your family, your business, whatever it is. It's a lot of fucking courage. There's a lot of courage that you have to take to push past all of the fears that are holding you back and keeping you stuck, keeping you small. If these videos inspire you, then you're probably ready for your own escape plan. You found our channel for a reason. This message was meant for you. We've created an outline to help you escape the 9-to-5 in just 90 days. Check out the link below, and don't forget to follow along for more daily inspiration.